So one of the things that I like to talk about is the mindset it took to have $50 million to lose in the first place, but then the mindset it took to come back to the success that I enjoy today.
Welcome everybody to the Multifamily and More Virtual Mastermind. I am your host, Jamie Gruber, here with my very, very sharp co-host, the freaky Frenchman himself, the pride of Paris, gnome of Normandy,
that's enough.
Vixen of Versailles. It's all the French references.
The hunchback of
hunchback or something. Mr. Benoit Malie. Say hi, Ben.
Hi, guys.
It's great to have him. You're in sunny Florida, yes?
Yes. Tomorrow morning it will be sunny.
Oh, it's supposed to rain?
No, it's just nighttime right now.
Oh, tomorrow will be sunny. I thought you said it won't be sunny. How was dinner? You had a nice dinner date tonight. Was it good?
It was great.
Good. Ben's a man of few words, folks, if you couldn't tell. So I'll do a lot of the talking tonight. Before we get to our very, very special guest, the kind of the elephant in the room everybody can see here, I just wanted to do a couple of plugs on a couple of things that we have going on. So first, tonight's episode is sponsored by my buddy Phil Capron. So Phil, many of you know, is an investor. He is a veteran, and yesterday released a book specifically for veterans on Veterans Day. So his book is called Your VA Loan. You can download it on Kindle Unlimited if you have that through Amazon for free. You can buy it on Kindle for $2.99, and I believe a paperback version is out as well. I'm not sure if Phil's out there tonight. Hopefully he is. But
well, if he is, hi Phil. I know Phil very well. Good job on the book, brother. That's awesome, man. He's awesome. What a great cause too.
It is. He's a Rod Khleif student, as many of us are. And yeah, Phil, I see him out there. So say hi, Phil. But that book, yeah, again, Kindle Unlimited for free, $2.99 if you buy it on Kindle. Paperback just came out. I actually bought it and read it, most of it yesterday, and it's pretty good. He's got some interesting stories in there. And his whole goal is to teach people that are veterans how to leverage the VA loan to become millionaires. So even if you're not a veteran, download the book, give it to a friend that is, support Phil, support what he's trying to do. It's for a great, great reason. And like Rod said, a great cause. Second, our multifamily and more communities are expanding. So we've got 10 currently. We're up to about 4,000 members. And I wanted to highlight a couple real quick. Out in San Francisco, our San Francisco Multifamily and More group, Hendra and Mercy do a great job. They are more focused on out-of-state investing and passive investing as a community. So if you're interested in that, check them out and what they're doing. Great content. And our other one that is up and coming now is Tampa Bay, which is TJ Hines, Tampa Bay Multifamily and More. He's got great content as well, and he dresses even better than Ben. So for whatever it's worth, you can see some really, really great duds that he wears if you jump onto his page. So check those two groups out. Go to facebook.com/multifamily and more. Like our page. You can check out all the associated groups right there. There are 10, like I said, currently. Happy to have you in any of our communities. So kind of pay the bills, get that out of the way. I'm going to introduce our guest tonight. Our guest, Rod Khleif, is a passionate real estate investor who is
God, don't go through all that.
Come on.
Let me tell him my story.
Okay. All seriously.
Right. Yeah.
Your secretary said it to me.
I know, but she needs to stop doing that. I'll say everything that's on there, and it won't sound like
canned speech,
as pretentious and all that as it is. So, yeah,
all right. Well,
thank you.
Welcome to our virtual mastermind.
Thank you. This is really cool. I'm really impressed with what you guys have going on. I'm thinking, oh God, 8 o'clock. But I do podcast interviews. I do several a week, and just because I want to help podcasters that are trying to get things going, and I didn't realize, you've got a lot going on here, guys. I'm really impressed with what you guys have going on, and was unaware of the incredible way that you're doing this technologically. Very, very cool. I'm blessed. My podcast just hit 7 million downloads literally this week. So that's, a real blessing and unbelievable. But, it's so cool to see, other successful people doing this. So I appreciate you having me on the show. And if you'll humor me,
yeah,
why don't I tell a little bit about my story? Because
Please.
I think it'll tie into some of the things we're going to talk about later. So, I immigrated to this country when I was 6 years old with my brother Albert, my mother's Vansha. We came over on a big ship. I immigrated from the Netherlands, from Holland, and we didn't have much. We ended up in Denver, Colorado, where I lived for 30 years, and I grew up on expired food. I wore Goodwill and Salvation Army clothes all the way through junior high school. Drank powdered milk because my mom thought milk was healthy. I told you I'm doing almond milk now because I know better. We didn't have much. And now I'm sure that some of you listening had it harder than I did, or know people that had it harder than I did. But the reason I bring that up is I knew I wanted more than that. I didn't want to struggle like that. And luckily, my mom had an incredible work ethic. So she babysat kids so that we'd have enough money to eat. And we always had a house full of kids. And as I was growing up, and with her, and she was an entrepreneur. I'm sure that's where I got it from. I've now built 24 businesses. And I'm sure I've got that entrepreneurial spirit from her. But with her babysitting money, she bought the house across the street from us when I was about 14 or 15. For about $30,000. Now, when I was about to graduate from high school, she told me it had gone up $20,000. It appreciated $20,000 in her sleep. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, screw college. I'm going straight to real estate. So I got my real estate broker's license, which you could do back then with education. Now they got smart and you have to have some experience first. But I was actually a real estate broker right when I turned 18. My first year in real estate, I made about $8,000, maybe $10,000. My second year, maybe about 10 to 12 grand. But my third year, I made over 100,000. And that's one of the topics I'd love to dig into a little bit with you guys today.
Please.
Is how I 10x'd my income in 1 year. And how I did was I discovered someone that taught me about the power of mindset and psychology. How now truly 80 to 90% of your success in anything is your mindset and your psychology. Only 10 to 20% the real estate stuff that we talk about, on our shows. And so, I met this guy. And fast forward to today, I've owned over 2,000 properties. And in 2006, my net worth went up $17 million while I slept. And, but there's a punchline. and the punchline is, well, first of all, let me just say what happens when that happens with someone. Okay. You make that kind of money and you could get a big head. Some people do, some people don't, but I did. Okay. I thought I was a freaking real estate god. I thought, you could barely fit this head through a door. And, you do the math on that. It's like $8,300 an hour for the year. Okay. So, it's pretty impressive when you think about it like that, but, I thought I could do no wrong. Well, I got a lesson. I call them a seminar. I don't call them failures, but in 2008, I lost everything. I lost all that 17 million, a whole lot more. I lost $50 million. And so one of the things that I like to talk about is the mindset it took to have $50 million to lose in the first place, but then the mindset it took to come back to the success that I enjoy today. And, if you'd like, I can take just a few minutes and talk about what I take a long time to talk about at my live events or with my coaching students, but I can do it in a few minutes if you like.
Please. Yeah. We're here for you.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so what I want you guys to do, if you're listening, hopefully you're watching at home or listening at home where you can take some notes. And I think you should, I think you'll be glad you did if you do. So what I want you to do, and the reason that I was able to come back from losing $50 million, I thought I was set for life, guys. I truly did. And we can dig into why I lost it after I talk about the mindset piece here. But I thought I was set for life. And I thought 80 million baby boomers getting old and getting cold. Florida was recession proof, and it was ground zero for the freaking recession. So the reason I was able to come back was I knew exactly what I wanted and why I wanted it. And I didn't focus on the pain. Yeah, sure. I hit under a rock for a couple of months, but after that, I refocused on what I wanted. So what I want you guys to do if you're listening, and I know if you're listening to these guys that you probably already have done your goals at some point, but I'm going to tell you that what I'm going to share with you, thanks, Paul, what I'm going to share with you is a strategy around getting clarity, real clarity on what it is that you want, because clarity is power. Okay. So even if you just did your goals, humor me and do it again. Trust me, you'll be glad you did. And we're not going to be able to go through the whole session here that I take an hour or longer at my events, but sit down when you've got a lot of energy, make sure you're well hydrated, make sure you've drank water. Don't do it after a meal, and sit down and write down everything you could ever possibly want in life. Okay. Start with the stuff.
Okay.
We all want stuff, the jewelry, the cars, the boats, the planes, the jet skis, the motorcycles, all the stuff, the houses. Write it down. There's nothing wrong with it. But here's what I want you to do. I want you to take the lid off your brain. If there's something that you thought to yourself, my God, if I got that, that would mean I achieved success beyond my wildest dreams. Whatever it is, a yacht, a jet, a private island, write it down, because it starts the process. Do not underestimate what you're capable of. Trust me on this. And I'm going to give you some concrete examples of this, but write down everything, all the stuff. Also write down what you want to do in your lifetime. Write a book like Phil just did, or climb a mountain, or jump out of a perfectly good airplane like I did a few months ago, which I won't do again, but I did. Whatever it is, if there's something you want to do, write that down. Write down how much money you're going to have in the bank in 3 years, how much money you're going to have in the bank in 10 years. Write down how much cash flow you're going to have from your assets in 3 years or 10 years. And so all that stuff. And then also write down what you're going to learn in this lifetime. Okay. Learners are earners. You should constantly be learning. If you come to my house, you'll see I have thousands of books. Never went to college, but thousands of books, and you should constantly be learning. So write down what you're going to learn, foreign language, whatever it is. Lastly, write down who you're going to help. Okay. We were put on this earth with two hands, one to lift ourselves up and one to lift up someone underneath us. Write down who you're going to help. I bought my parents a house here in Florida on a canal. I bought them a car, took them on cruises. Who are you going to do things for? Whose world are you going to rock? Who are you going to delight with these things? So write all that down. And if you're analytical, please don't stop and analyze it and think about it. Just keep writing. Don't let the pen leave the paper. You want to do this with high energy, breathing, and think of everything you possibly can. And here's why you're doing this, if you don't know already. The reason you write your goals is because it triggers something in your brain. There's a filter in your brain called your reticular activating system. And what that filter is, it filters out what it thinks is most important to you subconsciously. It will direct you towards the things that it thinks is important for you. And the best example is when you first buy a car. You never notice them before. You didn't even see them that much, but you buy it and you see them everywhere. That's your reticular activating system. And the same thing applies to your goals. If you write your goals down regularly, your brain will point you in the direction of things that will help you achieve them faster. All right. So you've written all your goals down. Now they're really just dreams at this point. They become real, and they become real goals when they're measurable. So I want you to put a number by each goal, how long it's going to take you to achieve it. Put a 1, a 3, a 5, even a 10 or a 20. And recognizing that as human beings, what we'll do is we will overestimate what we can do in a year and massively underestimate what we can accomplish in 10 or 20 years. And I'll give you an example of that. So when I lived in Denver, I knew I always wanted to live on the beach. I mean, I love the beach. There's no beach in Denver, okay? And I love the beach, and I love palm trees, and I don't like cold. And so I'd have to see pictures of palm trees in the beach, and I just imagined living there. And I built this incredible 10,000 square foot, $8 million house on the beach. And I mean, this house is magnificent, okay? Giant, wide waterfall from the second floor balcony into the pool, and I mean, I can go on and on about this place. I owned the beach on one side. I had my boathouses on the backside. And that was unthinkable when I was 18 years old. So guys, take the lid off your brain. If you write it down, it starts the process. Don't limit yourself. All right. You put a number on the goals. The next thing I want you to do, and just a few more quick things. Next thing I want you to do is pick your number one goal. I mean, pick that out of the world goal that if you get it, you're going to be like, oh my God, I've really made it now. That goal, put it on another piece of paper. Now, I want you to also pick your top 3 one-year goals. Put those on another piece of paper. Leave room in between them. So you've got 4 goals on another piece of paper, your number 1 goal and your top 3 one-year goals. And by the way, if you've got 3 or 4 goals that you'd be thrilled to get any one of them, just pick one. It's not going to matter for what we're doing next. Now, the goals are important. The goals will push you. They'll pull you. They'll propel you. But knowing why those goals are an absolute must is the real fuel. And that's what we're doing here, guys. We're building the fuel, because I'm going to tell you, it takes a lot to stay up late and work on your side hustle. It takes a lot to get up early and work weekends and sacrifice things to get what it is you want. And this is the fuel to do that. Knowing what you want and why you want it. This is how I recovered from losing everything I had. Would have been very easy to focus on the pain. A lot of people don't recover from big losses like that. But luckily, I had been around the technology. I was around Tony Robbins and around that technology to focus on what you want, not what you don't want. So Anyway, so where was I? Okay, so you've got your 4 goals. I
Yep.
want you to write a paragraph for each goal, why it's an absolute freaking must for you to achieve that goal, okay? And use emotionally charged words. Words are so powerful, like amazing and incredible and beautiful and fantastic. Use words like that. They'll drive you. So you might put, so I can show my family what amazing success looks like. I can show my spouse what it's like to be successful. So I can show my kids how to be a success. So we can have freedom to do whatever we want, whenever we want, wherever we want, bring whoever we want. So whatever it is for you, be descriptive as to why it's an absolute must, not a should. Okay. In life, we end up saying, I should be a better parent. I should work a side hustle to make some money. I should pay more attention to my health. We end up shooting all over ourselves, guys. So make it a must. All right. And so write a paragraph why it's a must, absolute must. And then I want you to take it one little step further. Put a little pain in there. Okay. I mean, make it painful, not a little, put a lot of pain in there. If you don't achieve the goal, put some pain if you don't get it. So, and say things like, so I don't feel like a failure. So I don't live a life of regret. So I don't fail my children. I don't fail my spouse. I mean, make it hurt. And here's why. Because as human beings, we will do more to avoid pain than gain pleasure. And you want to use that, guys. You want to use that to propel yourself to get everything that you want in life. Trust me, this stuff works, guys. Okay. So you've got your positive, negative reasons why. Now there's one last step, and that is you've got to go get pictures of your goals. Now, I want to give you some examples of this, and so that because you've got to be able to manifest these things into your life. I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, so it starts with pictures. So I'll give you some examples, but I'll give you some public examples first. Maybe some of you may have read the story about Jim Carrey. He wrote himself a check for $10 million when he was flat broke, okay? And he put in the little remittance part for services rendered with a little smiley face. And he used to go up to the Hollywood sign and he'd just look at it and imagine cashing it. And that's how much money he made for Dumb and Dumber, okay? Olympic athletes now visualize a race before they do it. The Russians started it. Now all of them do it because it's been proven to enhance performance. I'll give you another great example. There was this millionaire in New Orleans, and there was an area in New Orleans like the 9th Ward or somewhere where it was really depressed, okay? And there was a school there where I think, and don't hold me to these numbers, but they're pretty close. Somewhere but in the teens ended up going to college, like 17, 18, 19% of the kids went to college, okay? So what he did was he adopted a class in that school, and he did one thing, and this is just an amazing story. It's a true story. So what he did was he bused those kids to a college, all right? They went to a college, I think it was Loyola. And what they did was they paired each student up with a college student, okay? And they walked around the campus. They spent a whole day at the college. They walked around the campus. They went to the library. They went to cafeteria. They went through classes. They got to experience college life, okay? Now, then they bust them home. Now, all they did after that was every day at school, every day they were in school, they closed their eyes for a few minutes and visualized themselves going to college. I think it was somewhere around 80% ended up going to college. That's the freaking power of visualization, guys, okay? So I'll give you some personal examples. Back when and if anybody's heard me interviewed before, they've heard these examples, so forgive me if you have. But back when I was 18, I was a real estate broker, right? So I had to have a 4-door car so I could show houses. I was going to make a fortune selling real estate. Well, so I got this Ford Granada. Bone ugly friggin' car, okay? Bench seats in the front, gray, just the ugliest thing you've ever seen. Well, I worked with a guy who had 2 Corvettes, and he had a Lincoln Continental and snowmobiles and a 3-car garage, stuff I'd never seen before, but he let me drive one of the Corvettes. And that's a key piece. That experiential piece is so freaking critical. So guys, if there's something you want, if there's a car you want, go test drive it. If there's a house you want, go to an open house of the house like that. Do everything you can to experience as much as you can. And I'll give you a great example. This is not a do as I say, not whatever. You know what I'm trying to say. I went to the Fort Lauderdale Boat Show a week ago to do this because I want to have a yacht. Okay. I want to rent a yacht or buy a yacht and take it around Italy and Greece and Spain and Croatia and spend a few months on it. And that's on my bucket list. Okay. And so I went to the Fort Lauderdale Boat Show and I went and sat in yachts and I stood in them and I visualized it and I just imagined it. And so again, guys, this stuff works. So what I did back then when I drove that Corvette is I got a picture out of a magazine. I mean, this was before you could spell the word internet. Hadn't even been thought of yet. Got a picture out of a magazine, put it on the underneath visor, taped it there of my, I see these chats coming through and they totally screw me up. I am on fire, brother. Whoever said that, I love you, man. Thank you. But it totally, you know, you got to be careful with me. You know, the brain will fall out on the floor and I'll totally lose my train of thought and we'll digress for 30 minutes. Anyway, so I got a picture of the Corvette, put on the visor of my Granada. Within a year, I had this beautiful red Corvette, which got stolen. I never tell that. I actually got stolen. Well, anyway, so give you a couple more examples. But before I do, I always want to pre-frame these by saying, this is not me bragging, guys, even the house on the beach, any of that stuff, because this stuff, it just doesn't motivate me anymore, okay? But it's great for illustrative purposes, so you get inspired and you do what I'm telling you here because it works, okay? So this is back when the TV show Magnum P.I. was out, okay? The actor's name was Tom Selleck, and he was a detective, and he drove this Ferrari 308, and I thought that was the coolest freaking thing I'd ever seen. It was a red Ferrari, just gorgeous. So I got a picture of that actual car, and I put it on the visor of my Corvette. Within a year, I had a Maserati look just like it, a year or two. Last example, and I wish I'd have thought this. I could have had the model to show you. It's in one of my other buildings here at my compound. But my son was 9 years old. Well, let me back up. I'm the guy that always wanted a Lamborghini, okay? I had the posters in my bedroom. It was a Lamborghini Countach. That was the model that I wanted, okay? And I had posters all over my room. And my son, when he was 9 years old, collected models of cars. And I have the model that I'm going to reference here in a second, and I wish I'd have grabbed it. But anyway, I have a model of the exact same color and style Lamborghini that I ended up getting, okay, which I ultimately wrecked here in Sarasota, but we won't digress anymore. But anyway, guys, the pictures work. In fact, let me give you one more example. Here's my planner. I show this at my live events, okay? I use a paper planner. Yes, I'm old, and I use Outlook too, but yes, I use paper. In the back of this thing are pictures I've had for 20 years, okay? The first pictures are my gratitude pictures. They're all dog-eared, they're in plastic. They've literally been in, not this binder, I've gone through probably 3 or 4, 5 binders in the last 20 years, but these have been in the back of every one of them. And the first pictures are my gratitude pictures because everything starts from a place of gratitude, okay? And remember that, it's foundational. Like I've got vision boards. I could go behind my green screen and show them to you, but one of them is a gratitude board. Okay, starts with gratitude, guys. Very, very important. So these are pictures of my kids when they were young. And then I've got pictures of the houses that I wanted. This top house picture looks just like the windows that I had in the house I built on the beach before I did it, guys. Okay, this bottom picture looks just like the compound I have now. See the railing there? Look behind me. Yeah. It's the same freaking railing. That's okay. True. This is 20 years old, guys. Okay. Yeah. And then other stuff that I thought was important, you know, stupid shit like watches. I'm into watches. You know, I have a couple $100,000 worth of watches. You know, the Lamborghini before I ever got it, okay? The Rolls Royce, the Bentley, all this stuff that I got because I have pictures, guys. So those of you that are analytical going, oh, Christ, he's off the deep end with this stuff. I'm telling you, you're making a mistake because this stuff works, okay? If you look around my office now, in my weight room, my exercise room, and around my office, you will see pictures of the things that matter to me now, okay? And my vision boards. So guys, get pictures of these things that you want. Very, very important. And you know, just as an aside, it's kind of humorous. I have a compound now. I lost the house on the beach. I have a compound. I just showed you the place I live now. I've got 6 buildings. I have my boardroom mastermind, the cocktail reception here tomorrow night, but it's magnificent. I've got a huge main house. I've got a 2-bedroom guest house. I've got a media center with a theater room and a wet bar, and above it is a video studio, conference center. And what's really funny is I go out in my backyard and I can see my old house across the bay that I lost because God's got a sense of humor. But anyway, so I landed the plane. You guys take it away with the questions. I hope you guys get the importance of this mindset because it's so easy to focus on what we don't want. You know, you know, we don't want a life of regret. Let me add something. You know, there was a hospice nurse in Australia. Her name was Bronnie Ware, and she would counsel hospice patients at the end of their lives. And she asked them a question. She said, do you have any regrets? And she wrote a book about it. It's called The 5 Regrets of Dying. You know what the #1 regret was, guys? Not living the life I could have lived, living someone else's life, not doing what I want, what I could have done. Guys, we don't want any freaking regrets, okay? So, you know, do the goals, do this stuff on mindset, because that's the fuel. All right.
Dude, that's amazing. So, no, I mean, I see all the comments in here. Rod is gold. You're on fire. You're amazing. Because
thanks,
you
guys.
said you lose
really
energy
cool.
at 8 o'clock, but my God, man, you're on fire. It's unbelievable.
Thanks, guys. No, I appreciate that very much. Thank you, man. Really
what was
appreciate
that?
And that was just the intro.
That was the intro.
That was just the intro. We're just getting started, man. We're just getting started.
Hot.
So if I could add one thing, just because I'm old and I'll forget, 2 things actually. One, as part of this visualization process, make them, okay, I only listen to one podcast. It's Tim Ferriss's, okay? You know, I hit 7 million downloads on mine. He gets that, I think, more than that a month, okay? But what he does is he deconstructs world-class performers. And focus is power, guys, okay? Focus is so freaking powerful. And it's so easy to focus on what you don't want. In fact, you know, it's much easier. If you go up to somebody and ask you how you're doing, you say, fantastic. Oh my God, life is amazing. They're like, ooh, you know, they're like back like this. But if you say, oh, my back, oh, it's so hard right now. Work, oh, sucks and stuff. They'll be, oh, come here, brother. You know, and so you get rewarded and validated for that, for the pain and the suffering. So focus is so critical. You know, and if you want to get out of debt, you don't focus on the debt, because what you focus on gets larger. You want to focus on the cash flow, right? And so I'll give you one example of that. Mother Teresa, they asked her if she was anti-war. She said, no, I'm pro-peace.
I like that.
See? All right. Yeah. Anyway, so oh, that's right. I forgot. I was going to share something. Oh, my morning ritual.
That's what
I noticed was, so what Tim Ferriss does is he deconstructs the best in the world at what they are. Okay. Best actors. He's got Arnold on there and Jamie Foxx, and, you know, he just had Ed Norton on there today. You know, billionaires. I mean, Ray Dalio, super billionaires, you know, politicians, best in the world at what they do, and every genre. Okay. And I noticed some patterns. Really cool patterns. Almost all of them have a morning ritual, #1, and they almost all meditate. So why do they meditate? Because it enhances focus. Focus is freaking power. So anyway, just want to share that. And I do a morning ritual, and I can explain it in 30 seconds. What I do is I just do gratitude for the things I have in my life. My beautiful, amazing wife, my kids, my coaching students, my foundation. I just do gratitude. And like I told you, with my pictures here, I've got a gratitude vision board. Then I do gratitude for the things that I want as if I already have them. And sometimes I'll get emotional about stuff I don't even have yet, okay? But you bring that kind of energy, guys, it freaking works. And you get clarity around these things you want. I'm telling you, it happens so much faster, okay? And then lastly, I'll just do a little declaration. And I do this in the mornings to say it's going to be an amazing day. And it usually is. So I'll stop.
No, it's great. Listen,
ask the questions.
A couple of things, if I can sort of further your point. So meditation, something I've done over the last few years that Ben knows this. I get up super early now, which isn't required, but I just enjoy it because I'm ready. I love meditating. I found this Sam Harris, I think is his name. Sam Harris? Waking Up app, and he teaches you like.
I just lost your voice.
Yeah, your sound went off.
Oh yeah, your sound's off. But you really look good trying to say it. Yeah, no, I can't hear you at all. So I'll fill in the gap while you fix that. Guys, a great book about that's called The Miracle Morning. How you get up and you exercise. I've given away hundreds of copies. It's Hal Elrod's book. I had him on the show. He's a great guy. But you exercise, you journal, or you pray or meditate, and you journal. He calls it scribing, and then you read a good book, and you start your day off that way. It's just incredible. You got your sound bag?
I hope so.
There you are. Good. Okay.
So I was saying the Waking Up app with Sam Harris is a great way to learn meditation. And
Love it.
You mentioned the Tim Ferriss podcast, Focus. Have you heard the interviews with Josh Waitzkin?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, the level of those conversations blow my mind, man. If I want to be intellectually stimulated, I turn that on. I listen to it every time I run, this morning even.
I just love that. This is the point of having a guy like you on, is, to talk about, like, you are extremely successful by any measure in the field that you've chosen. And the types of things that you look into, the Tim Ferriss podcast. We talk about Josh Waitzkin because of Focus. He's been a champion chess player, champion, push hands, jujitsu.
He's done all sorts. Anything he's put his mind to, he's conquered, and
Correct.
It's been Focus. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So great guy to listen to if you want to check out that podcast. Of course, check out Rod's podcast. But I always say, you take the advice of those who are walking in the shoes you want to, which is you, Rod. So if the advice is the Ferriss podcast, that's a great episode.
Yeah, well, and if you're going to get a coach or a mentor, you want someone